guys, it's Jen here and welcome to Jen's World About Watercolour. So today I'm going to be doing a painting of a lion for you guys. I hope you enjoy it, so let's get painting. Okie doke, so I'm doing this lion. I got the reference picture off Pixabay. A beautiful lion walking just across the savannah, and he's all stretched out and just looking gorgeous and sleek. So I thought, yep, I'll have a go at painting him. So now I'm just drawing in his mane and just a general sort of shape by eye at the second. I'll use my fingers to sort of measure. Once I've done his head and his shoulders, I'll take a measurement of his head to his shoulders, and then the measurement of that, the length of that from his nose to his shoulders is the same distance from his shoulders to his rump. So that's, you'll see me in a second, I'm gonna do that measurement with my fingers just to get the proportions close to right. So yeah, I just do the line there and then I realise and think, okay, yep, so that's the same distance there. And then I measured against the photograph the depth of his girth, so that's what I was doing. I was reaching up to the photograph and then taking the same measurement onto the drawing. Now I'm doing his back legs and back end position. Pop that other back leg in. I was going to say inside back leg, but it's outside back leg. Pop his rib cage. Just do a few of the sinewy lines he's got on him and a few more details around his little face. Pop his ear in. Pop the ground in. Okay, so grab my cloth and we're ready to go paint. So bring my water over. Now I'm going just a wash of yellow ochre over his whole body, just as a base coat. I'm using my silver black velvet brushes. I absolutely love these brushes. They hold so much water, they're just gorgeous. So yeah, just take the yellow ochre pretty much everywhere. Very thin wash of it, very watered down wash. So now I'm going a slightly thicker wash, slightly thicker mix of yellow ochre. Now just take that over his middle sort of tone parts. So his mane's quite dark in spots, so I'll just take a thicker mix of the yellow ochre down there. Now I'm going, while it's still damp, a bit of burnt umber and ultramarine blue, and take that down into the very darkest parts of his mane. I haven't done a lot of lions in my life. I've probably done 2 or 3 I've been drawing since I was 6. And I think I've drawn maybe half a dozen lions in my whole life, because yeah, I find their manes quite intimidating. So this is a really good test and a really good practice for me. So yeah, I tend to stick to lionesses because they don't have the manes to deal with. But yeah, no, it's all good. It's nice to have a practice, and yeah, be interesting at the end when you let me know what you think in the comments below. That'd be awesome. So now I'm popping with that same mix of grey, which is burnt umber ultramarine. I'm just taking that down the shadow side of his back leg. And everywhere that there is a little bit of grey or a little bit of shadow, so he's got it down his rib cage. He's got quite a defined rib cage. That back hock. So it's a very, very pale wash, so very watered down of the same mix. Then I'll take a slightly little thicker consistency of the same colour into his rib cage and down his elbow, just define the line of his back a bit more. And he's got quite dark around his muzzle. The light's reflecting on it there, I'm afraid, but you'll see it better when it dries a little bit. But yeah, he has quite a dark patch on that part of his muzzle. Now I'm getting a little bit of raw sienna, and I'll run that through his mane, because he does have a bit of red through his mane, a bit of reddy brown, a bit on his forehead, a little bit down his back. Sort of connects him all together, having a bit of the same colour throughout his whole little body. Now I'm going thicker consistency of yellow ochre. Sorry, not yellow ochre, raw sienna. Oh, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna, sorry. And just taking that down his darker parts of his body, or goldier parts of his body. So now I'm going in with a little bit of neutral tint and just doing the very darkest spots on his face. So his nostrils, he's got a black lip at the bottom, the line up to his eye, and then around the edge of his eye. And then a few little very dark grey or neutral tint around his mane. I just popped a few little dots for his whiskers. And now just run the shadow of his tail with neutral tint. Right, so I'm going burnt umber ultramarine here, making a darker grey. And I'll take that under his armpit and up towards his back leg there. Just do the darkest shadows there. He's quite dark on the back of his leg there. So everywhere that I can see shadow or dark, I'm just popping this watered down mix of ultramarine and burnt umber. So getting the contours of his body a little bit more. Then I'll thin it out with a damp brush just to take any hard edges away, like that. And I'll get back into his mane a little bit, so I'm going back into the burnt umber here, pure burnt umber, just to add some lines to his mane. Like I said before, I'm still learning how to do manes, but it's all good. Lots of practice. You've got to practice everything you're not sure about, so I think it's coming up pretty good. So doing some burnt umber there, just take that around and under his belly as well. A little bit over the top line of his back. And he's got quite a shadowy bit just under that leg, so I'll just give that a bit of colour. And add a bit more colour to that back leg, a bit more warmth in there. And he's got a big muscle there, so I'll just define that with a bit of burnt umber. Now I'm going in with a bit of cad yellow just to the inner part of his eye, because it is quite gold in his eye. Pop some detail in his ear. Now I go in, I just popped a little tiny bit more black around the outside edge of his eye. Not black, neutral tint, sorry. And now I'm adding a bit more neutral tint because it faded out when it dried before, and pop that into his mane. And then I'll just dampen the brush and sort of smooth it out so it's not quite so harsh, like that. And see, it's all, the mane's all blending together now, so I'm rather happy with how that's turning out. So now pop the pads on that front foot, and now put the shadowy bit on his on the bottom part of his mane under his elbow, like that. And then just really darken up. There's a couple of points here. So now I'm just going to pop a bit of sap green on the ground there just as a base colour, and I'm going to go over that with a few different mixes of greens. So yeah, it's a bit of sap green. Now I'm just going to with a bit of raw sienna. Sorry, not raw sienna, burnt sienna. I always mix up raw sienna and burnt sienna. So a bit of burnt sienna into the grass because it's quite browny grey or browny green on this savanna, and then I mix up a bit of cobalt blue and yellow ochre to make a brownier green, just in the dark spots, just to give him some ground to be walking on rather than just floating in air like he was. And now I go in with some cerulean blue for the sky in the background. Or I'll give him a background, give him a bit of contrast, because that way he'll just look a bit more finished off. So yeah, pop the blue in, bit of cerulean, so very damp brush, and just take that round everywhere, around his whole little body. And I'll do a few coats of this just to darken it up, and so I've done that one now, and while it's still damp, I'll go back in with a bit of a thicker mix of the cerulean blue still. Just take that all around him. Around his face. Oh, and I smudged the black, or the neutral tint. So that's okay, I just go in with a damp brush and mop that out as best as I can, like that. And then dab it up with my cloth. And I'll be able to go over that now with the cerulean again, and it'll be fine. It'll fade right out and you won't even notice it. So that's what I do, I keep mopping it until it's just about gone. And then go over it again. So it's just mopping it with clear water, dab it off like that, just about sorted. And then I go back in with the cerulean and redo the background there, just like that. So you can fix watercolour. If you get it quick enough, you can fix just about anything. So yeah, because that was still wet, I could still move it around as much as I wanted. And then I had another bit. So I had to do the same thing, but yep, all good, sorted. So then back in, just go over it again with the cerulean, just right around him. And you wouldn't even know I'd made a mistake there. So I'm using my Sennelier watercolours, which I absolutely love, so yeah. So now, yeah, just going over everywhere else again with the cerulean, just darkening it all up so it's sort of right, the even tone around his whole body. So now I've just mixed up a bit of a brownie, very, very, very washy, wet browny grey with what was left on the palette, just to give some different tonal values to his body. Just give him some dimension so he doesn't look so flat. Now I'm letting him dry a little bit. And I've got the white gouache, and I'll just touch up a few spots here and there. So he has a little white spot around his eye and under his eye, like that. A few white hairs in his mane, just for a bit of texture. So I'm looking on the photo, and everywhere I see that there's a little bit of light grey, I'll pop a bit of white gouache, because it fades back. It doesn't stay bright white. It fades back to just a greyish sort of. It just lightens off the coat a little bit. Put a little dot on his eye. Pop a few. Oh, around the edge of his muzzle, he's got white beard, so I'll pop that in. Bit of gouache, because I smudged it before when I did the. When I had to clean it up a little bit, so yeah, pop a little bit there. Then I had to let it dry. So now Just do a couple of bits, finishing touches there. And just tidy up that line around his nose. Maybe a bit of a highlight there. He's just about done. So just do finishing touches of white grass just around his legs and anywhere that there's obvious white bits. Just lighten up that bit under his eye a bit more. So if you'd like to see any of my future videos, just click on the bell icon, that'd be awesome, and then you'll get all my latest videos as they happen. Yeah, I'll just finish off these final details just here. Pop my signature on. And we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys, and I look forward to seeing you again next video. Have an awesome day. I'd love to hear in the comments what you think of this guy, because like I said, I haven't done a lot of lions. Look forward to hearing from you all. Have an awesome day. Okay, bye.